Hey Whiskers, Kimonie here from Golden Whisk, and today I'll be showing you guys how I make this beautiful royal crown cake. So if you're interested, keep on watching. Okay, so as you can see, I have a fully coated cake to the side, and I just did a quick measurement to see how wide I need to roll my fondant. I had an air bubble and I just used my trusty pin to pop it. Now I'm just checking the measurements of the fondant before I do my transfer. Okay, so now I'm just applying the fondant to the fully covered cake using my French rolling pin. Now it is very important to secure the corners of the cake first because the fondant is very heavy, and so the weight of the fondant that is hanging down will actually cause tearing around the edge. So now I'm just using, I don't even know what to call this part of my hand. I'm just using the side of my palm, I guess you could say, to secure the fondant to the cake. That is the easiest part to use because it doesn't get as hot as the middle of your palm, and so it does not cause the fondant to get sticky or, yeah. And as you can see, I made a big mess right there because I was trying to rush because this was a last minute cake and I was very busy that day. But if you take your time, I'm sure you won't have any problems. I tried to fix it and I think I did a pretty decent job hiding the flaw. Now I'm just cutting off the excess fondant from around it. There's still about 2 centimeters left at the bottom because when I'm smoothing, sometimes the fondant stretches or moves around and you wouldn't want to start showing your cake underneath. Now I'm using 2 fondant smoothers to try and get somewhat of a sharp edge. I didn't want it too sharp, but I didn't want it to be too rounded either. I guess I wanted a middle ground. Now I'm using a sharp X-Acto blade to cut off the excess. I used a brush to remove the cornstarch that was on the outside of my fondant, and now I'm using my diamond impression mat along with my fondant smoother to get the quilted look on the sides of my cake. So the lines weren't as detailed as I wanted them, and so I just went around with my cake ruler to create more definition. Right here you can see me using a cookie cutter to just outline the frame that will have the edge at the front of the cake. Now I'm just using a combination of fondant tools. I wasn't sure which one would work best. My paintbrush, some corn syrup, and my gold pearls. And I'm using my trusty fondant tool to create some holes around the cake. As you can see, I switched tools because I realized that the smaller one was going to do a better job. I'm just using my small paintbrush right here with some corn syrup on it, and I am painting over the holes that I created in order to help my pearls stick. Now I'm using another fondant tool. Well, I'm actually using 2 different fondant tools to easily place the pearls in in the holes that I created before. Now feel free to use a food safe tweezer if you have one. I don't have one on hand and so I was just using what I had. Now I wanted to create a gold undertone, I guess you could call it, for my crown. I am going to paint it gold, but I didn't want, if I missed a spot, then you could see white or another color underneath, and so I just mixed two different yellows and a brown in order to get that gold undertone. Now here I have a crown mold and I'm just placing my fondant in there in order to get the details that are in the mold, and I'm using my rolling pin to flatten the back side of the crown and using my palette knife to remove all the excess. Now as you can see, removing the excess can be a little tricky, but just take your time, and if you need to patch an area then just add some more fondant. Now I didn't like the exact design that this mold came with, so I decided to tweak it a little bit by just adding a strip of fondant down the bottom that I added some details onto using my pearl mold, and I just attached those two pieces using some more corn syrup. Now because I wasn't sure if the corn syrup would hold this together, and as I said, I was rushing because this was a last minute order, I made a fondant paste and I used that as glue. I also decided to add a little bit more details to the base of the crown by adding some fondant, I guess you could call them strips, which I got using my fondant extruder. Now I'm just securing that to my base using, yes you guessed it, some corn syrup on my paintbrush. And this is my finished crown product. Well, it's not fully set as yet, but that is what the design looks like. Now, as I mentioned a few times before, I was rushing to complete this order because it was a last minute order. And so I had to do my little oven trick in order to let this set in a few minutes. I did not have hours on my side to make this set, and so I just placed it around a few cookie cutters in the oven at 100 degrees Celsius for like 10 minutes, allowed it to cool thoroughly, and I got a pretty firm crown at the end. Now I'm just adding some more details using my vintage fondant mold, and yeah, I'm adding a border to the base of the cake. And don't mind the change in lighting. As I said, I was rushing, and so I did not have the time really to check my phone after every step to see if the lighting changed or if the angle was perfect. I just wanted to get this video done and get the order completed in time. Now the frame for the front was also placed in the oven, and as you can see, it is pretty firm, and I'm just going to place this in the circle outline that we had created at the start of the process, and I'm securing this with some corn syrup again. Now I'm just going through with my gold paint, and this is all food safe. Of course, it's just some gold luster dust and some vodka, and I'm painting all the details that I added to the cake. Now as you can see, when the crown turns around, it does create the color that we obtained does create a good base for us to paint the gold on. And so if you miss any spots, it won't be that obvious because you do have a gold undertone. And of course, you can't forget to paint the inside of your crown, because when the cake turns around, you will be seeing that side. Now, if you guys have made it this far, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That would help me out a lot. You can subscribe by just clicking the Golden Whisk logo, which is in the bottom right corner of the screen. Guys, I am honestly just realizing how horrible my lighting is for this video, and I do apologize, but I think once you're getting the general idea, it's quite okay. I'm just using some leftover gold paint along with some fondant paste that I made from before, and I'm creating a ring where the crown will be secured. Now you can just use water if you'd like, or you can just use corn syrup or edible glue if you have that. Okay, so now that we've added our crown, this is actually the end of the tutorial. I did go ahead and added the name of the customer on the top of the cake and painted that gold as well. And so that's what you're seeing right there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is the final look, and I am completely in love with it, and I hope you are too. If you are, let me know down below in the comment section. You can also leave suggestions there. Don't forget to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next Wednesday with another video, but in the meantime, there are 2 suggested videos on the screen that you can check out. Don't forget to stay golden.